Pregnant lady is happy. Our first recipe today is going to be some scalloped potatoes. I always call it scalped potatoes because my mom called it that, and Michael's like, you need to work on how you pronounce scalloped potatoes. So that's what we're making today. She always made it like the scalloped potatoes and ham kind of casserole, and we'd eat it like in the winter for dinner as more of like a meal. But today we're gonna forego the ham and we're gonna do a caramelized onion version. It's gonna be a great side for Thanksgiving. So I'll have the exact recipe that I'm following. I don't know if I'm gonna tweak it or not yet, but I'll let you guys know what ingredients I have. First of all, I primed this mandolin so we can get our potatoes really nice and thin. I don't think I've made this before, at least not with one of these. So yeah, usually for Thanksgiving, the past few years we've been at Disney, and last year we did like a little Mexican fiesta. So I haven't made like true Thanksgiving meals probably since like before Julian was born. It's been a long time, but we have some russet potatoes, we have a yellow onion, we have some garlic powder, olive oil, butter, salt, pepper, some fresh thyme, some Gruyere cheese. I have some white wine that I'm finally gonna be putting to use. I think I've had this in my fridge since like March of last year. And this, when I do drink wine, I really like this one. But I also have some milk. So this is where I'm trying to decide if I wanna go a little higher protein, low fat and do Fairlife, or if I wanna just do the good stuff and do the heavy whipping cream, but you can do either. I might just do this because Michael's like, if you're gonna make it, you might as well just go out and make it. So let's get started. All right, so I'm gonna start by just chopping up the onions and get those caramelizing. Onions are chopped up. I'm just gonna use a tablespoon or two of olive oil, throw them on here, and we're gonna caramelize them for probably like 30 or 40 minutes while I get the potatoes prepped. You really wanna take your time and like let the onions actually cook for as long as you can. My mom always does it for like an hour when she caramelizes onions, but we don't have time for that today. So we're gonna do like 35 minutes. We'll throw a little salt in here too. Okay, I've invited my,
Your what?
well, I was gonna say helper, but then I was like, thinking you were gonna be like, why do you call me your helper? So, I've invited you.
Why would I say that?
I don't know. So I've invited Michael to do the part that I don't want to do and that I'm scared to do, which is the potatoes. This is what my mom would always make me do, is the potatoes, so.
Well, you always cut your finger.
I do. I'm gonna take a break while you do that. All right, this thing is actually really convenient and nice. Of course, you don't need it.
But it's a game changer.
But it's a game changer. And it literally came the day I ordered it, and that is, like, look at how perfectly thin. Ooh, I could make like French fries with this.
It's on my LTK.
It's on my LTK, I'll link it. So we have our potatoes all sliced up. They're just sitting in some water so that they don't brown while we let the onions caramelize a little bit more, probably like 15 more minutes. I have my oven preheating and I'm just going to chop up some garlic. I'm gonna use fresh garlic and garlic powder because I like things really garlicky. So I'm gonna get a few cloves chopped up, grease my baking dish, where is it? And then gonna get everything ready to make the sauce. So it's gonna be the onions, it's gonna be the wine, butter, and the garlic, I believe. Oh, and the milk. Our onions smell and look amazing. I almost feel like I wish I would have used one more like small onion because it really reduces down. But I'm gonna go ahead and add in my 2 tablespoons of butter. And the recipe calls for 2 garlic cloves, so I did 4. And now I'm just going to mix this together. And then in a minute or two, once this is kind of cooked down, I'll add in my white wine. And I'll let that cook out, obviously, because we don't want the alcohol in there, so I'll let that cook out for a few minutes. Add in some more garlic, some salt and pepper, and then we'll add in the heavy cream. Okay, if you want to do the milk, you can do the milk here. I'm gonna throw in the heavy cream. This is gonna be so good. It's just a little time consuming with caramelizing the onions, but it's worth it. And I feel like this is one of the things that you can also, like, you could totally caramelize these onions the night before and just have them in your fridge. Or you could even make this and just reheat it the morning of. That's something that I'm gonna be doing this year because last year I was cooking all day long. So this year I'm definitely gonna be prepping a few things ahead of time. And I even think I might cater like a thing or two, telling my mom to bring something, my sister to bring something. That way it's not all on me. Okay, so now I'm just gonna throw in, I cut up some of this thyme. I'm not gonna do too much just because I don't think my kids will like a lot of that. And a little more garlic. And then I'm just gonna let this cook for a few minutes and then we'll assemble everything and throw it in the oven. I went ahead and drained the water from the potatoes. And now I'm just gonna layer half of them in here. And we'll throw our sauce on top. It's gonna be so delicious. I can't wait to get this in the oven because I'm starving and I knew I was gonna eat this for lunch today. I also wanted to film this video like quite early because I was like, if I wanna make this again for Thanksgiving, I wanna be like craving it again. Pouring over about a cup of that sauce, which smells amazing. I'm gonna add in about a 1/4 cup of cheese. I'm not really measuring. Do you really need to when it comes to cheese? Now I'm gonna just add the rest of the potatoes and basically layer the sauce and the cheese again. Pouring on that last layer of the sauce. I'm gonna add another 1/4 cup of cheese and then throw this in the oven. Potatoes are in the oven. I have some water boiling for the green beans. While that water is boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and throw together the salad and the dressing. This salad has been like one of my go-to salads for the past couple of years. I just switch up the toppings depending on what I'm in the mood for. Basically, you just wanna throw together all of your favorite things. So for the greens, I like this spinach and arugula mix. Sometimes I just do like mixed greens, sometimes I just do arugula, but you want kind of like a darker green, not like romaine. And then for your toppings, for cheese, you can either do feta or goat cheese. I've kind of been liking goat cheese lately, so that's what I'm gonna do today. You want something crunchy, and I like a glazed pecan or like some type of glazed cinnamon sugar nut. You can make them, but I just buy them. This gives it a really nice crunch and a hint of sweetness. With the creamy goat cheese, it's so good. And then for fruit, you can really do whatever. So I like dried cranberries. I'm also gonna throw in some fresh apple to give it kind of like a nice crispy, crunchy, like tart bite, which I really like. The more texture, the better. I've done it with blueberries, I've done it with peaches. Like you can do this with so many different things. If you're making this and it's not Thanksgiving, you could like make some grilled chicken or shrimp or something to go on top. And then for the dressing, it's super simple. So you need some vinegar and oil. We're doing like a balsamic. So I have balsamic vinegar and olive oil, a little honey, a little Dijon mustard, and then we'll throw some salt and pepper and garlic powder in there, and we're done. So I think actually today I'm gonna start by making the dressing in the bottom. Just throw in a tablespoon or two of the oil. And the vinegar. A teaspoon of honey. Teaspoon of Dijon. Some pepper, some salt, and you just want to do this to taste so you can just see if you need to add more of anything. Okay, and then my lettuce is already washed, but because I'm pregnant and just being cautious, I'm gonna wash it again and then we'll throw it in. I have my greens, I'm gonna throw in there. And then this is just like one of those easy ones that, I'm gonna use the goat cheese. You can literally throw together in 5 minutes. If you're going to Thanksgiving and you're like in charge of bringing the salad, this will be a hit with everybody. My kids really like this one too. Well, Rocco. And then your pecans, you could chop these up too if you wanted to. They're so good. Cranberries. Give it a fall vibe. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I've already washed my apples. I'm gonna chop these up, dice them up, and throw them in. Okay, so here's your salad. You can go ahead and mix it up. I'm just gonna leave it pretty for the video, but you can go ahead and mix in that dressing that's at the bottom, and it's gonna taste amazing. If you were making this and you wanted to prep it early, I would say just prep the dressing, and then you can have everything else like ready to go in literally 5 minutes, even if you needed to bring it with you and like prepare it at the place. I've done that before too, at like my mom's house or something. So anyways, yeah, this is what it looks like. It's so good. Your whole family will love it. We do this salad all the time, just as like a side salad with any dinner really. Water is boiling, so I'm gonna throw our green beans in just to get them like started to cook, and then we'll throw them in an ice bath and cook the rest of the way in the oven. The beans are cooling in the ice bath. I'm gonna throw in my butter and garlic, add in my sliced mushrooms. I'm gonna cook this for a few minutes. Our timer is about to go off to add in the flour. The recipe that I'm following called for cassava flour, but I'm not trying to make this gluten-free. I'm just gonna use regular flour. I think it'll turn out fine. It's just smelling amazing. So 2 tablespoons of flour. Gonna really thicken it up. Now I'm gonna slowly add in a 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Mix it in, and then we'll add in another 1/2 cup. Okay, I'm adding in the other 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Stir that in. And then we'll add in some of our seasonings. Okay, it calls for 2 teaspoons of Dijon and a tablespoon of lemon juice. It's our lemon juice. Onion powder. Well, it's dried onion, that's all I have. Some thyme. I am excited to try this because I feel like the Dijon is gonna give it a little bit of a different flavor. Instead of just like rich and creamy, the potatoes will be so rich and creamy, so it'll be nice to have like a little bit of a different flavor for the green beans. I'm gonna add in the cream. You could do milk as well. Okay, Michael's gonna pour it over the green beans for me. I have it just in a casserole dish. We'll mix it up and then throw it in the oven. I feel like when my mom made this, she used to just use like cream of mushroom soup. So I like taking like those classic recipes and just kind of bringing them, like freshening them up and elevating them a little bit. I like that because you still want those like classic tastes. Once you mix up the green beans, throw that in the oven, and I'm gonna pull out the potatoes to add more cheese on top. Okay, I'm gonna throw a little bit more cheese on top, although it already looks pretty crispy because you're supposed to cover it with foil, but I didn't have any foil on hand. I figured it wouldn't be the end of the world. So just gonna throw in the rest of the cheese. I turned up the oven just a little bit. I would have turned it up more, but since I have the green beans in there, I don't wanna overly cook those. So I turned up the oven a little bit. I'm gonna throw this in for a few minutes just to get that like bubbly, crispy look on the cheese, and then these are done. I'm sweating from making all this. I really wanted to finish in time to go pick up Rocco from school, and I was literally like 2 or 3 minutes short. He just left, and I'm like, okay, I have 5 minutes left. So basically, potatoes are done. Pulled those out. We're gonna let them cool. They look good. Pulled out the green beans too. Oh, you guys, my house smells so good. Just gonna stir these up a little bit. I've been like, I don't know what's gotten into me last night and today, but I have energy. And I'm like, I need to clean, I need to cook, I need to do everything. And I'm like, I'm just rolling with it. You cleaned the whole house last night. Already did the dishes this morning, went on a walk, took a shower. I'm like, I feel good. I'm just rolling with it. Because I did not feel good this weekend. My nausea has been back. I'm like, really? Okay, I'm just throwing on the crispy onions. You could make these. I'm not going to. This is just like such a nostalgic smell and taste. Okay, now I'm like, reminds me of my grandma. Okay, we're gonna throw this back in the oven for a few more minutes and then it'll be done. Okay, I was just looking at the website where I got these 2 recipes from, and she has tips on if you want to prep this like a day or 2 in advance, how to store it and how to bake it. So check that out. She's called The Defined Dish. I started following her on Instagram. I don't know when. You know, like sometimes when you follow someone on Instagram and you mean to go back and look and then Instagram never shows you their feed again until like a year later. I don't know how long I've been following her, but I randomly got one of her recipes for like a slow cooker pot roast, and we made it last month and it was so good. And Michael said it was his favorite like pot roast I've ever made. So I went back to her website to find Thanksgiving recipes. So I'll link them below. Salad is my recipe. I'll take credit for the salad, but not the other two things. So I think we're about done. I moved the camera like this so you could hopefully see a little bit better. Michael's probably gonna watch it back and be like, Alex, this looks like crap. But I wanted you to see the food, but it's too hot for me to like hold it up. Are you kidding me? Whoa. I remember when I was pregnant with Julian, I had a craving for Thanksgiving dinner and I made everything but the turkey 1 year for myself because, yeah, I was like 6 months pregnant, like kind of like I am now, and I was like, I need Thanksgiving dinner. And I just made it all just like this. That's so funny. Okay. Oh, you guys, look at this. I hope you can see me. I don't even know how to use this camera to look and see if you can see me. Let's try this. Let's try it. Potatoes. Yep. Wow. That is perfect. Soft on the inside, crispy on the outside. Cheesy, garlicky, that caramelized onions, kind of jammy. Oh, so good. Okay, let's try the green beans. My parents are probably gonna come over and eat some of this. I'm gonna have to tell them. That Dijon gives it like a little bit of a tang. So it's not just like two rich and creamy things. Like it's rich and creamy, but it gives it a little bit of a tang and like a salty taste from the cream and the mushrooms. And the salad. Pregnant lady is happy. Hope you guys are happy. Try these out. Thank you for watching.